Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural Mindset Mondays with Dr. Aaron. You're here. You can say I was here for the first one, and I can say you were here for the first one. And I am so blessed. We're going to do these every Monday. So invite your friends, invite your team, invite your business colleagues, invite your growth friends, invite people that you know want to rise up in every area of their life. And the Higher Life Facebook group is where I'm going to be sharing my most advanced trainings and all of my special offers, right, Suzanne? And all of the goodies happen in the Higher Life. Suzanne is the Higher Life team. Wave to them, Suzanne. If you need anything, you literally can tag the Higher Life team and she will be your concierge. She's the hostess with the mostest. She loves serving you. It's her mission on the planet to serve others. So she found the right and perfect way to use her gifts, which is such a blessing. So thank you, Suzanne. And you can also message me and we'll get you, all hooked up. If there's a specific training you're wondering if I've ever done, or has Dr. Aaron ever done a podcast on that? That podcast is The Higher Life. But go ahead and ask Suzanne, like, does she have anything on this? And we'll pull something specifically for you. Okay. So please open up your chat rooms if you're able. This will be really fun to go back and forth. And we're going to talk about the big D word, discipline. Look at who shows up for a discipline talk. You ladies, look at you. You're like, I want to learn about discipline. So, oh my gosh, this is so funny. Of course, all good trainings start with the Merriam-Webster definition in the dictionary. You're like, I wonder what they say discipline is, because I feel like discipline gets a really bad rap. And I'll be sharing with you why, based on the definition in the Webster dictionary, why discipline has such a bad rap. But let me just tell you that the Higher Life is where we really talk about the psychology of taking everything in your life higher. So if you're here, you're probably a driven entrepreneur that's up to something and wants to grow a business, or you're a business owner like Kirsten. You want to grow that. Maybe you want to come and elevate your mindset, and you know that a psychologist could probably help you with that, right? So I like to say I am the success psychologist, and I really, after having about 13 years in private practice, I always knew I wanted to be a psychologist. But after that, I really shifted myself. I kind of hit my emotional rock bottom. Well, I did in my life. And through the course of events, really, I wanted to start working with people like me, people that really wanted to focus less on pathology, as a typical therapist focuses on, or psychologist, and really use my background and expertise to focus on possibility. So that's where I created my coaching company probably about 6 years ago. Maybe it's 5, but the Higher Life is where we elevate your business, your mindset. You might want to be elevating your sales. Who here would like to make more money? Yes, all of us. We talk about that. Oh, I love it. She's raising her hand as she's driving. She's like, I would like more money. We have master courses in the Higher Life for all these things. We have a master course for your worthiness, for your happiness, for money mindset, for sales. We just did a sales master class on my exact system. We did a master class on being aligned and how to actually become a high performer. And it's not what you think it is. And it's glorious. So a little bit about what the Higher Life is and what you can expect to kind of learn from as you come to these lives on Mondays. So let's talk about discipline. Okay, this is why discipline gets a bad rap. Okay, discipline, according to the dictionary, is a training ourselves to do something we are expected to do, or follow a code of certain rules. That just doesn't sound super fun, but hi, Kristen, good to see you. Or discipline is defined as using punishment to correct ourselves when we don't. Also doesn't sound super fun, but those are some, definitions of discipline. But also, of course, there's the flip side of the definition. The one we're talking about here mostly today is creating behaviors and routines that help you transform your life. So that sounds like the discipline we're here for, right? So when I say there is freedom in discipline, you're going to realize why I'm so passionate about that, but you probably have realized this maybe without even knowing it. I want you to open up your chat room and tell me about a time where you, because of great discipline, accomplished something in your life that you were really proud of or was really awesome. Share with us what have you so far accomplished in your life where discipline helped you get there. I'll go first. I first really flexed my discipline muscle, no pun intended, when I competed in a string bikini competition. Had no desire to do that, but eventually ended up on stage and competed in a fitness competition. I'm going to share with you a story before we dive in about how to become more disciplined. And I want you to listen through the ears of yourself, right? And how this pertains to you and what area of your life maybe this speaks to you the most right now in your life. So I was training. We were about 9 months in to training for the bikini fitness competition. And we worked out 6 days a week. Probably most days we worked out twice. I probably have forgotten it, like childbirth, right? You're like, it was so fun. No, I think we were working out twice a day for 10 months in a row, you know. And the D-Day came, and D-Day is when your suit arrives, and your suit arrives like 2 weeks before you get on stage. And for, I would say 95% of people that compete, a lot happens in the last 2 weeks. It's almost like they lose 8 to 10 pounds normally, usually just water weight that you put back on, but still there's a lot that happens in the last 2 weeks. So needless to say, when my itsy bitsy teeny weeny rhinestone turquoise string bikini came in the mail, I tried it on and I instantly started crying, felt, bawling my eyes out. This is so horrible. This is never, oh my God, Jane Fonda called. She wants her string bikini back. Like I am not doing it. This is not happening. So I go to the gym that day for our one of 2 daily workouts. And I'm crying in the weight room, which is not a good look, but I'm crying and I'm lifting the weights and I'm pulling. And my trainer's like, oh my God, what's wrong? I'm like, the suit came, it's awful. I'm never going to be ready. It's not going to happen. All of this work is never going to, and I'm crying. And she goes, Erin, do you trust me? I'm like, well, yeah, I trust you. I mean, you've competed many times and you've won, and look at you, like you're hot. Like, oh my God. Yeah, I trust you, but you should have seen me in the string bikini. It's not going to happen for me. And she goes, Erin, could you just do what I told you to do during this workout right now? And I'm like, yes, I could. She goes, great. Could you go home and eat what I suggest you eat just for today? And I'm like, yes, I could. She's like, great. Could you come back and do that tomorrow? Yes, I could. And she said something to me I'll never forget. She said, borrow my belief until you get your own. I'm going to make you co-host, Suzanne. Sorry, just a second. I trusted her that the discipline that she was going to, be sharing with me, that the discipline would have a victory at the end, that there would be the fruit of my labor, right? And I walked on that stage the day of the competition with no confidence. So here's the kicker. Sometimes we wait around to have the feeling that we're disciplined or confident enough to be disciplined or confident enough to, before we do the thing that will actually make us disciplined and confident. And I get on stage and I'm shaking and I end up coming home with a medal. And Garth likes to joke that really, I am really his trophy wife now. But I come home and even after winning, I had maybe a little confidence that I looked okay up there. This is the thing. You're going to have to understand this concept that there are principles behind success tactics, behind success philosophies that have promises attached to every principle. And if the promise that is attached to the principle of discipline is it's going to work for you if you work it, well, isn't that exciting news? Like, isn't that good news? And I want to share with you a statement that I really want you to think about. You're not powerful enough for it not to work for you. She speaks the truth in love, my friends. Like, I have come in peace. You're not that powerful. The laws of the universe, the laws of success will always work for you if you believe in them. And if you don't believe in them, you're going to have to borrow the belief of the principal or someone that you're leading that's saying, trust me, right? So that's the first thing I want to say about discipline. It's like you have to believe in the promise behind the principle before you see the results. Because if you're here and you've told me what you want to grow your discipline in the most, and thank you for sharing that, it's probably areas that you've never quite mastered yet. Can I get an amen? Like it's the thing. It's like, yeah, I've never mastered actually eating healthy for an extended period of time. I've never mastered actually managing my time for years in a row. I've never managed that. And so you're being asked to do something. You're asking yourself to do something you've never done before. And what's your brain going to do? It's going to be like, whoa, Nelly, like that's asking for a lot. We've got a track record. Let's see, I'm 48. We've got a track record, 48 years show that this ain't happening. So you're going to have to trust in something, right? You're going to have that faith that I don't know exactly how. I just am the woman or the guy that's going to show up for it. And it's going to see how it all happens, because I know that the principles and the promises behind discipline will be true for me, because I'm not that powerful that they're not. So please put in the comments, put what you want more discipline in. Okay, so discipline is this idea of, it's almost like a cousin to confidence. It's, thank you, Ashley, time management. It's like a kissing cousin to confidence, where if the definition of confidence, if you look at the root of the word, confidence, to confide in oneself. Well, what is that? To confide in oneself, to keep the promises you make to yourself. That sounds a lot like discipline, right? Or it sounds a lot like we're going to need to have discipline to keep the promises we make to ourselves. Okay. So how do you grow anything in your life? Let's say you want to be more patient. What would you say you would have to practice doing? Put that in the chat room. What would you have to practice doing to be a more patient person? I will just wait, because it is, yes, you would have to be patient, wouldn't you? If you wanted to be better at tennis, what would you have to practice? It's like Captain Obvious, right? So what are we going to have to practice to become more disciplined? We're going to have to practice being disciplined. So I'm going to help you train your brains to really understand how to do this in a way that maybe you've never thought about before. And I want you to understand, when I say there's freedom in discipline, there's freedom to and there's freedom from. So Garth is on the screen. Garth is my husband. And Garth, I always joke, is the most disciplined human I've ever met in my life. And yeah, you are, and you know it. Okay, so you know when you go around for like New Year's Eve resolutions, Garth's New Year's Eve, don't hate him, because if you knew him, you would understand. His New Year's resolution is to stay the same. And then we go around in our family and we're like, well, that makes sense. If I was Garth Oaksall, I would want to stay the same too. Okay, because he's so darn disciplined. Okay. And I don't think he struggles with the things that my brain struggles with. So it's not as hard for him to be as disciplined. I'm going to say that, Garth. But you are disciplined. Now, let's look at Garth. What does the discipline afford us if we have freedom from and freedom to? So let's say Garth's super disciplined in how he eats. He is free from feeling bad in his body. He is free from getting sick, like tummy aches, from eating stuff that doesn't, right? So he's disciplined. He loves the taste of lots of things, but he doesn't necessarily eat them because he's disciplined and he enjoys the freedom of how that makes his body feel good. Freedom to, he is confident that he's a guy that does what he says he's going to do. he has a company-wide health challenge right now, and they're so confident in Garth's ability that they have said if anyone beats Garth at the health competition, Garth has to like eat like crap, which is just funny. But like, he has confidence in his own abilities to eat healthy, and other people have confidence in him because he's shown a track record of being disciplined. Why did you get second place? I did not know this. This is news to me. Why did you get second place? Oh my gosh. Okay. So freedom 2. What would being disciplined give you the freedom to do? Please share in the chat room. What would that allow you to feel? Who would it allow you to be? And what's so fascinating is if you have freedom in one area of your life, it often allows you to feel free and disciplined in other areas of your life. My entire transformation started at the gym. It didn't start by growing a business. It started by doing what that trainer told me to do and becoming the woman that could do that. That was a huge shift in my identity. Okay, and Debbie, being disciplined would allow me to be free to feel comfortable in my jeans. Now look at this. Feeling comfortable in my jeans would allow me to do what? And you can keep exploring that and really following the breadcrumbs, so to speak. And this is your why. This is when people say you need to know your why. So that, why does being comfortable in your jeans impact your life? Okay, if I'm comfortable in my jeans, it means I know my body's at a certain state or stage of health. And I know that if I'm there, then I will be healthier. And if I'm healthier, that's interesting to me. And that is freeing to me because then I can feel less stress about not being unhealthy, I would imagine, or all the things that being unhealthy could cause us to worry about. And then when Debbie is not as stressed about her health and thinking about her body all day long in those jeans, what then does that allow Debbie to do? Like, if you can tie up, this is one of the things I want to teach you today. If you can link up these disciplined behaviors that you want to be disciplined in to the bigger picture, to the mission over your life, to your spiritual calling, to the way you parent, to the way you do all things, right? To be strong in all areas, someone just wrote. If you can link that up, you will have much more success because you will have done something that research shows is really necessary, and it's creating necessity. So there's one way to grow discipline. There's one way to motivate humans, and there's two ways to motivate humans. One's with a stick and one's with a carrot. Okay, the stick. Have we tried this with discipline? Oh, what is my problem? Why am I always starting on Monday? What is wrong with me? Why can't I even go through 8 hours without getting off my eating plan? Okay, I need to crack down and I need to, don't be such a jerk. Like, do what you say you're going to do. That's the stick, okay? It feels a lot like pushing, trying to make yourself do something, doesn't it? Oh, thank you. That's the stick. The other way we have found works much better with us humans is the carrot, which is called necessity in this conversation. Here's how you're going to get to necessity around the thing that you want to be more disciplined in. Who's counting on you to do what you say you're going to do? I want you to share that. Like, whatever it is you're saying you want to be disciplined in. And you've kind of thought about if you're disciplined in that, it allows you to be free in certain areas. When I am taking care of my fitness, I am a better wife because I am not in my head about my body. I am much more playful, right? I am much more fun to be around. I am less agitated by the thoughts that go on between my ears. I have more bandwidth to think about other things other than how my body feels in my pants. Like, it has a huge ripple effect, right? Oh, and by the way, if I am in a health and wellness business, it's going to help me build that because I'm going to feel like I'm in integrity with my highest self. Oh, it helps me feel spiritually fit because I believe that my body is how I treat God because my body is a representation of God in my life. That's from Jan Levinsant on Oprah. Okay, so it's a big deal for me to be fit. It's not that I would rather eat carrots than Oreos all day, okay? None of that is ever going to go away. It's not trying to use the stick and say, no, you really do prefer quinoa and salad every day. You really do prefer that. No, I don't, okay? I prefer really yummy food that is often bad for me. So I have to keep an eye. Oh no, where'd my screen go? Oh, decline. My family's calling. Garth, where do I get my screen back? Oh, Lordy, 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 Lordy. Oh no. Hold, please.
Hit the open Apple and
Back
the
to
tab
me.
button
There
on
I
your
am.
keyboard. There you go.
Call Emily. Tell her to stop calling me because she'll just keep calling. Thank you, honey. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Okay, so, okay, where was I, everybody? Going back to the stick and, oh, necessity. Okay, so if necessity is these people are depending on me, counting on me to see this through, my husband deserves the best of me as a wife. That could raise my necessity, right? I could be clear about that. All the things that are important to you is your necessity. We have got to keep those things on the, what I call the dashboard of your mind. One of the ways, so that's just reminding yourself, okay? So I want you to have to rely less and less and less on discipline and more on your identity. And when you do, it becomes less of a push trying to make something happen and more of a pull. Do you feel the difference energetically of being pulled by something that lights you up, of being pulled by a mission over your life, of being pulled by being spiritually fit, of being pulled by, okay, good. That's why when people become really disciplined people, it's not hard. I want you to understand when you become disciplined, and you know this in your mind, but the whole point of being disciplined is so that it's not hard, right? That everything becomes easy for you. Wouldn't that be nice? It's easy for Garth to stay healthy. That's what I meant when I said he doesn't struggle with the things between his ears like mine. It's not like every day he's struggling. There is mastery with things that become, there's easiness with things that become mastery. So if consistency is the mother of mastery, and mastery just means it's easy, don't we want things to be easy in our lives? Easy is not sleazy when it comes to mastery. Easy means mastery, my friends. It is not hard for me to decide. Kristen Gandolfo totally transformed her health. It's probably not as hard for her to choose whether she's going to take care of her body today as it was before she started. It's easier. So I want you to understand, when do we need the most amount of energy and fuel and power for a rocket ship to launch? When do we need the most amount of oomph? When do we need that? You all know that. At the beginning. This is how it's going to be at takeoff. This is how it's going to be for anything you're trying to be disciplined in. It's going to be hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, and glorious at the end. That's from Robin Sharma. Hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, and glorious at the end. I have freedom from the daily wondering if I'm going to be the woman that keeps her word when it comes to working out. There's a freedom there. Do you see? Do you see how there's freedom? I no longer have to have those conversations with myself. I no longer have to say, are you really going to do it this time? Well, I don't know. Like, should we? That's a lot of bandwidth that is now open and available for me for other things that matter more to me than 5 pounds. Okay. I'm sick. I'm exhausted of thinking about it, right? Like I want to break free. Okay. So freedom to and freedom from. Okay. This is pretty self-explanatory, but discipline frees us from what? When you've been really disciplined in your life and you've had bumpers in your life and you've had guardrails and you've had structure and you've had all the things that might appear to be kind of boring and kind of mundane and kind of monotonous. You mean you want me to do the same thing every day? I am not a robot, Dr. Aaron. When you live like that, what have you really experienced freedom from? Ooh, that's a good one. Freedom from distractions. Distractions are like putting your highest self in personal lockdown. Distractions are dream killers. Distractions make us stressed. Distractions make us crabby with our children. Freedom from excuses. Yes, freedom from excuses, and excuses are just the result of fear. And so really it's a fear, it's a freedom from fear of wondering and worrying, am I going to show up for myself? Freedom from procrastination, which is also what fear is. That's just a version, that's just how it's just a shield, the display of fear. That's what procrastination is. Okay, so freedom from self-doubt, freedom from questioning oneself, freedom from never having confidence in oneself, never trusting oneself to keep the promises you make to yourself, freedom from that identity. It's a big deal, isn't it? It's a big deal to say, I'm going to try to drink my water every day for the next 60 days. That can change your identity. That can change your life. Because then all of a sudden your identity shifts to, oh, how I do one thing is how I do all things. Oh, so I guess I am a disciplined woman. Oh, and you become a disciplined woman. It's just, it happens. It's so great. Okay. So we have to raise necessity. That's the carrot. We're going to be motivated way more easily from our necessity. Why is it that we must do this thing? Why is it that it's a non-negotiable? When you think about your highest self and what words would describe you, mine are right here: fit, free, and aligned. Fit means, I've told you why that's so important, but it allows me to be spiritually fit. So I want to give you another definition from the Webster Dictionary about freedom that it came to as it eventually started talking about Jesus, right? So Jesus had these disciples, right? And that's what, the word came from that. But listen to this: spiritual discipline. Let's talk about spiritual discipline. When I say the word spiritual, what I mean by spirituality is your relationship with your higher self. Okay, so your highest self, the self of you that's wise, that knows what you want, that knows the way, that knows what your highest self would do. Many of us call our highest self our higher power. Many of us call our higher power God or source or spirit or the divine, okay? But do you see, spirituality is your relationship with your highest self. Okay, so if that's spirituality, spiritual disciplines are practices that are designed to lead to a life transformation. So are you spiritually disciplined? Spiritual disciplines are practices that by design can lead to a life transformation. They enable us to mature, and they involve training that produces character. That sounds a lot like it shifts our identity. Your character is your identity, is who you are being. Yes, I have to be, it's a necessity. Who do I need to be? I'm going to give you the bad news. I'm just going to straight shoot it because you can handle it, right? I come in love, I come in peace. It is going to be impossible to dig yourself, to love yourself, to I dig myself, if you are behaving out of alignment to your values. It's impossible. I didn't want fit to be one of my words. It chose me, okay? Because if I didn't have fit as one of my values, then I could eat everything I wanted to eat, right? But I can't, because that is one of my values. And so it's going to be impossible for me to feel integral, to feel like I am a woman of integrity and that I am aligned if I am not aligned. So the behaviors have to match the value system, which is, you can think about that as necessity as well, right? So one of the other ways to think about the carrot, what's going to pull us to be disciplined, is clarity. I want you to understand, you've probably all heard clarity loves speed. Success loves speed. Speed loves clarity and only comes from clarity. Insert speed or success, whatever that means to you, but success is going to come from clarity. I truly believe clarity is probably the number one growth accelerator. It's my number one growth accelerator. It makes me appear insanely productive. It makes me push past all of my fears. It makes me not quit. Clarity. What do I mean? Who do you want to be? And what do you want to get out of this life? Like clarity. What is your mission? What is your purpose? All those things. We could talk about that some other live if you're not quite sure. But think about like what agitates you, what breaks your heart, what lights you up. All those things can lead to your purpose and your passion on the planet, and also what your gifts are. That's a great conversion. If you can, bring those two together, your gifts, and then either what lights you up or what agitates you and breaks your heart. That's usually your passion on the planet, your purpose on the planet. When you are clear about that, it will help you be very, very disciplined. So instead of trying to whip yourself into shape, we're going to raise the clarity. We're going to raise clarity. We're going to really have conversations with ourselves of, oh, if I want that, then I must do this. If I want that, then I must be this. And then you get to link all of these seemingly irrelevant behaviors to your big mission. So this is me on the treadmill. Look at me growing my empire. Look at me being a good mom. Look at me taking my next level in my business. Do you see? Do you see how they're connected? Those simple, seemingly irrelevant decisions done enough over time is the slight edge by Jeff Olson. It is the law of the slight edge. The behaviors that are easy to do and easy not to do will make all the difference. It's easy to eat an Oreo. It's easy not to eat an Oreo. It's easy to eat a carrot. It's easy not to eat a carrot. It's easy to work out. It's easy not to work out. That's why we get tripped up, everyone. The mountaintop experience is built on these simple, mundane little behaviors. But when you add them up over time, over a long enough period of time, they lead to massive success or massive failure. So share with us in the chat room, what's one behavior that could lead to massive success, or one behavior that could lead to massive success or failure for you? And it's like, it's easy to do and it's easy not to do. Making a sales call, easy to do, easy not to do. Creating a new schedule, easy to do, easy not to do. You've got to put, basically we're awake for, 16 hours a day. Can you put 16 hours together when you think of it like that? Okay, that's easy to do. Okay, easy not to do. Saying no, easy to do, easy not to do. Saying yes, easy to do, easy not to do. Like, right? Good. Hitting snooze. Ooh, that's a good one. Now, hard at first, messy in the middle, glorious at the end. What are we going to need to do at the beginning? We're going to need to prepare, plan, and have an accountability partner would be super, super great. So when I wasn't super great at working out in the mornings, I would make Garth cheer for me when I got out of bed. He's like, you want me to cheer for you? I said, yes, clap for me. And then I was out of bed. If I could get my butt out of bed, because my favorite place to be is in bed with Garth. That sounded bad, but it is. It's my favorite place to be. Okay, just cuddling in the morning. If you could get me out of the bed, I could do it. And he would have to push me out of bed. That was accountability for me until I could, okay, right? Getting my yoga workouts consistent. Good, yes. And you will create new neural pathways in your brain, won't you? That will now become easier. So isn't this a lighter, softer way to be disciplined? We don't need to crack the whip. We don't need to try to whip ourselves into shape. We don't need to try to want it more. We don't need to try to hunker down more. We need to raise our clarity. We need to raise our necessity. And then last but not least, we need to decide and commit. So I'm going to tell you a story. So Gracie and I were competing for a fitness competition during COVID. So she had turned 18 and she wanted to try it. And I did not want to, but I said yes because she asked me to. So we were competing and we were working out with a new coach, a new trainer. And he said, Erin, why is your last set always your best set? So I would always do the best, the last when I was lifting weights. And I was like, I don't know. He goes, because it shouldn't be that way. It should be your worst. Like you should be getting tired. So why is your last set your best set? And I said, because I decide. And he goes, decide sooner. That was like, oh my God. Okay. So we all need to decide sooner about certain things in our life, don't we? What do you need to decide sooner about? You actually can be one decision away. You could actually decide. You could decide. And what are we deciding? I want you to think of your goals as the standards that you're setting for yourself. Now, I want you to think of goals as the promises that you will attempt to keep for yourself. What does that mean? It means from time to time, we may break the promises we keep to ourselves. Because what? We're human. Is anyone here human? Oh yeah, we're all human. Oh God, okay, you're human too. Okay, got it. When you break your promises to yourself, you're going to say, oh, how human of me. But I want you to think of, instead of this goal, I want you to think of a promise. I'm going to promise myself to be a woman of a decided heart. I'm going to promise myself to show up for myself and put 16 hours in a row together, the best of my ability, until my head hits the pillow and I sleep for 8 and I do it all again. I'm going to make that promise to myself. I'm going to promise, if I can't do that, I'm going to promise to text Debbie every morning I do yoga so that at least she knows I'm on it and I know, and I can start there. I think I could promise myself to text Debbie. Okay, start with a promise that you can keep and build your way up. Do not start. Do not collect 200. Do not pass go. Do not say, I am going to eat healthy for the next year. Okay, it sounds like me. So, right, Garth? Sounds like something I would do. No. Garth would say, let's just try to make the next right decision. And then let's do that again. He says all the time. And when I asked him, how are you so disciplined? He said, I look at each little behavior and I try to make the next right choice. So I want you to think of goal setting, less as goals and more of, I'm deciding to be the woman that's going to keep the promises I make to myself. I'm going to promise to become more aware of the necessity for this. That's a promise you can make, right? I'm going to promise to be the person that becomes more integrated. I'm going to promise to increase my awareness of my ideal self and what she or he would do. Are these promises you would like to start making to yourself? Okay. Goals are the standards that you're setting in your life. And I promise you, because remember, every success principle has a promise attached to it, that this will work for you, that it will be hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, and glorious at the end. You're not that powerful for it not to be. Okay. So let's decide, let's commit, let's be clear, let's share with each other in the higher life what we're working on. I just joined this really high-end coach and mastermind, and she is all into meditating, and I've resisted meditating for 48 years. Since I've been on the planet, I've resisted meditating. She's like, did everyone meditate today? I'm like, no, like I have never meditated. And this woman, they're talking about how great it is. And this woman is like, I could be your accountability partner. And now I have meditated 6 days in a row because why? I have to text that darn girl. And guess what? I like to be a woman of my word and win. Okay. So here's the thing with discipline. Do what you got to do. Do what works. One of the things that helps me appear really disciplined is I pay for things. Do you know that humans pay attention to what they pay for? For some reason, I don't work out at home. I tried. I've bought all the DVDs, haven't I, Garth? All the DVDs at 2 a.m. when I was nursing our babies years ago. I'd be like, this is the system that I'm going to lose 17 pounds on. This is insanity. I will do insanity. No, I've never, ever watched one of those DVDs. I have them all. I sold them all at the garage sale. I made a lot of money off of them. I have all the bands. Oh, I do. Oh, I have bands. I am like getting ready Rhonda when it comes to this stuff. I am like, I have the bands and the straps and the balls and oh my, they're sitting on my floor. Okay, I could push at that the rest of my life. I could try to, with a stick, try to become the woman that does that. Or I could be really hot and fit by hiring a trainer. If that works for me. Do you see? People pay attention to what they pay for. So sometimes that alone will help you be disciplined. This is what I'm saying. We can let go of this. Like, I'm going to make it be as hard as possible. I want you to ask yourself, what's the easiest way I could accomplish that goal? The easiest way. Easy's not sleazy. Easy's mastery, and easy means it works. The easiest way for me to stay fit is to spend money and hire my daughter as my personal trainer, and to hire a meal prep service. That is money I could be using on lots of other things, but I value my health so much that that is a good use of my money, makes me very, very happy, and it makes me appear very disciplined, doesn't it? Because if I'm paying all that money, I'm going to do it. So that's the last thing I want to say. Like sometimes, psychologists are all about doing what works, not what you should do, what works for you. What's the easiest way for you to stay consistent on an exercise routine? What's the easiest way for you to make sales calls? When in the day is the easiest time for you to go live on Facebook? When in the day is the easiest time? Do you see what we're doing? Do that. Honor that in yourself, and you will be disciplined. It has been a blessing to be with you. I'm going to post in a poll in the Higher Life group what we want to talk about next week. It's a party. I can't wait to see you next week. I hope this blessed you big time. I love you all. Go live the higher life. It's time to rise up and claim your higher life. And let's go be disciplined, because there's so much freedom to it, and it's fun, and it's going to be easy. You're welcome. Bye, everybody. Thank you. I'll go post the recording.